The first hour of WW3, what you'd see before the world ends. 4:16 a.m. A single alert pierces the quiet in a hardened bunker. The radar bloom is wrong. Too fast, too clean. Operators stare like the screen is lying. Then the siren hits and the room changes color. Phones vibrate across cities that still think tomorrow is normal. Knit-stand screens flare with emergency banners, half-formed and strangely polite. The air feels heavier, as if the world is holding its breath and forgetting to exhale. Outside there is no explosion yet, only a rising mechanical unease. Distant highway hum, a dog barking too long, a helicopter thudding somewhere you can't see. The silence between those sounds becomes the loudest thing you've ever heard. News anchors stop smiling without meaning to. Their voices flatten, words landing like cold metal on glass. The invitations begin. Stay calm, await updates, do not speculate. But everyone is already doing the math in their skull. Somewhere, a leader is moved into a protected room with walls like a vault. Somewhere else, another leader is told the same sentence in a different language. The world doesn't declare war anymore. It slides into it. Military networks switch to hardened channels in the span of breaths. Code words move faster than emotions, faster than public truth. The first hour is not a battle. It's a chain reaction of decisions made under imperfect light. The moment feels unreal because it doesn't look dramatic. It looks like a normal night with minor glitches. That's the trap, because the old world doesn't end with a curtain drop. It ends with small systems blinking out in the wrong order. It ends with authority becoming careful, then sparse, then absolute. As the world holds its breath, where will you be when the lights hesitate? In that instant, the old world didn't just end. A new, harder one began. The trigger is not one clean event. It's a collision of threats that stack. A hypersonic strike hits a forward base, and the footage leaks in fragments. A naval clash turns into a fireball on the horizon, filmed from a phone. At the same time, a cyber offensive slams into civilian infrastructure like a silent wave. Power dispatch screens freeze mid-refresh, and operators feel the sickening weight of uncertainty. SCADA panels show normal while alarms scream underneath. A launch warning appears in an early warning pipeline, and nobody trusts it. Teams cross-check satellite cues, radar tracks, and human reports with shaking hands. Confirmation is boring when it works and terrifying when it does not. Inside command rooms, posture shifts from debate to procedure. Checklists come out like relics of a future everyone prayed would never arrive. The phrase credible threat lands, and then the room starts moving. DEFCON language is spoken without drama because drama wastes time. Authorization chains tighten, and every signature is a hinge. One wrong hinge and the door swings open into something irreversible. For civilians, the first sign is not fire, it is tone. Officials stop improvising and start reading, eyes dropping to prepared lines. Briefings shorten, questions go unanswered, and the same phrases repeat like a spell. A government spokesperson says, "We are monitoring the situation," then says it again, slower, as if speed might break reality. They say no further details at this time, and the silence after is louder than the words. You don't see panic in the streets yet, but you feel it in your apps. News notifications arrive late, then arrive in clusters. Video buffers, audio cuts, and comment sections become a stampede of certainty with no proof. The information gap widens like a crack in ice. People know something is happening, but not what, and the mind hates that emptiness. In that gap, imagination becomes weaponized. Flight trackers show strange arcs over oceans and empty corridors in the sky. Flights reroute without weather, without explanation, without apology. Airports slow down as if the entire system is suddenly walking on glass. Markets do something uncanny, a pause that feels like a heartbeat stopping. Trading halts, resumes, and swings hard enough to make anchors swallow mid-sentence. Money becomes nervous, and nervous money makes nervous people. Cell networks don't fail instantly, they drown. Towers overload under the weight of everyone calling everyone. Calls ring without connection, texts hang undelivered, and the little spinning icon becomes your first taste of helplessness. Emergency alert systems spit out test-like messages that aren't tests. The language is vague, designed to prevent stampedes, but vagueness breeds panic. People screenshot everything like evidence for a court that doesn't exist yet. The first psychological reaction is denial dressed as humor. Memes appear within minutes because laughter is a shield. Then the memes harden into coping, and coping hardens into fear when the next alert hits. Fear doesn't always look like screaming. It looks like sudden certainty, like strangers insisting they know someone who confirmed it. It looks like rumors getting riposted with the confidence of gospel. Meanwhile, militaries move without waiting for public understanding. Patrol patterns shift, aircraft go airborne, and ships change course like predators sensing blood. Bases lock down, gates close, and the world's posture tightens. What you notice at home is indirect and mundane. A banking app times out twice, then opens slowly, like it's thinking. A payment terminal at a late-night store declines, then works, then declines again. Gas pumps don't run out of fuel, they lock. Systems go into safety mode, or into remote control, or into nothing at all. A clerk shrugs, helpless, because the machine is the boss now. In cities, sirens don't scream nonstop, they pop in patterns. Police cruisers appear on overpasses watching lanes like they are arteries. Transit agencies post short notices about increased security, with no explanation attached. The supermarket shelves aren't empty because the world ran out of food. They empty because fear moves faster than trucks. People buy water like it's medicine, and batteries like they are oxygen. Someone pulls a cart so full it becomes a barricade on wheels. Someone else grabs whatever is closest, not what is useful. Panic shopping is not rational, it is a ritual of control. There's a moment when you realize the crisis is real, because normal etiquette collapses first. People stop saying, "Excuse me," in aisles. They stop making eye contact, because eye contact is an agreement. At the household level, the best move is small and disciplined. Bring people home if they are close, or keep them put if travel is unsafe. Movement without information is the first way families get separated. Charge every device, then stop draining them with constant refreshing. Pick a schedule for updates, because doom scrolling is an addiction wearing a news mask. The mind wants constant input, but constant input destroys clarity. Turn on a radio if you have one, the old kind that doesn't need a network handshake. A stable baseline matters when the internet becomes a rumor machine. Short-wave chatter feels primitive until it's all you have. Keep shoes, keys, and a flashlight in one place, not scattered like yesterday. In crisis, searching wastes energy and increases panic. Order is not comfort. It is survival infrastructure. If there are children in the house, they read your face before they hear your words. Your tone becomes their weather report. Speak slower than you feel, and move with purpose, not speed. If there are older relatives, handle their meds first. Stress hits them like a wave, and missed medication turns a crisis into a catastrophe. Comfort is not a luxury, it is stabilization. In the second quarter of the hour, the invisible war bites harder. Cyber effects feel random, but patterns exist beneath the chaos. Payment systems hiccup, city websites vanish, and hospital scheduling slows to molasses. Nothing looks like a Hollywood hack. It looks like error messages, spinning wheels, and service unavailable. It looks like operators rebooting systems that refuse to come back. A few disruptions ripple into real-world friction. Fuel deliveries get delayed because logistics software misroutes. Shipping manifests glitch, and ports tighten procedures because uncertainty is a bomb. Hospitals don't collapse instantly, but their margins shrink. Staff can't access records, then can't confirm appointments, then can't verify inventory. The modern hospital is a miracle held together by networks. Emergency numbers still work, but wait times stretch. Lines stay open longer because callers don't know what else to do. Panic turns every minor problem into a reason to dial. Meanwhile, the geopolitical surface looks strangely quiet. Leaders don't live stream the most dangerous conversations. Public silence can mean back channels are burning hot, not that nothing is happening. Behind closed doors, alliances strain like cables under load. Article 5 language hovers like a blade in the air. Everyone wants unity, but everyone fears being the one who triggers the next step. Retaliation planning runs parallel to de-escalation planning. Both exist at once, like two hands on the same wheel. One hand grips tighter, the other tries to steer away from the cliff. This is where misread moves become lethal. One side raises readiness as a precaution. The other interprets it as preparation for a strike. The mirror problem builds a loop, and loops don't care about intent. Information at this moment is poison disguised as clarity. A single viral clip can cause a gas station riot. A single false evacuation order can clog highways until ambulances can't move. Platforms post reminders not to share unverified content, and the reminders get mocked. Then the mocking stops when the next system lags. People begin to understand that the internet can't protect them from itself. In neighborhoods, the first social fractures appear. Someone hoards supplies with trembling hands. Someone else offers chargers and water because kindness is their way to regain control. Both are coping, both are human. The shift from civilized to primal is subtle, then sudden. It starts with impatience in lines and ends with shouting over the last case of bottled water. It starts with, "This is crazy," and ends with, "I need this." In one apartment, a family turns the lights on in every room. Light feels like safety, even when it drains batteries later. In another, a man sits in the dark, conserving power, listening to distant sirens like they are a clock. A city can feel calm while its systems are bleeding out. Street lights still glow, but the grid is being tested. Operators reroute power, isolate faults, and pray the next wave doesn't hit. If the grid begins to fail, It doesn't always crash everywhere. It browns out in patches, stutters in neighborhoods, then stabilizes briefly. That stutter is terrifying because it teaches you dependence. ATMs freeze without warning. Screens go blank or show polite errors. People stand there like the machine owes them an explanation. Money trapped behind glass becomes a symbol of a world that no longer negotiates. If you have cash, it becomes suddenly powerful. If you don't, you learn how quickly digital turns into gone. The first hour teaches brutal lessons in minutes. In the later minutes, authorities may issue shelter guidance in plain language. Go indoors, stay off roads. Keep lines open for emergency use. It won't sound cinematic, but it will sound final. The smartest move is to pick an interior space away from large windows. Not because you see fire outside, but because glass is betrayal when pressure waves arrive. Even distant blasts can turn windows into knives. Write a simple plan on paper, because paper doesn't crash. Who calls whom, where you meet if separated, what you do if networks fail. A plan written once beats 1,000 panicked conversations. Reduce energy use early, not late. Lower screen brightness, close apps, and stop streaming. In a long emergency, battery is currency. Spend it like you won't get paid again. Do not drive just to feel safer. Roads clog fastest in the first hour because everyone moves at once. Cars become traps when fuel runs low in lines and arguments ignite in parking lots. Do not rush to fuel stations unless you already need fuel and can do it quickly. Fuel lines become magnets for rumor and violence. Standing in a line is not preparedness, it is exposure. Keep messages boring and useful. Where you are, what you need, when you will check again. Long emotional calls drain batteries and clog networks, and they don't produce new information. If you have pets, leash them indoors. Animals sense instability and bolt at the worst moments. A lost pet becomes an emergency inside an emergency, and you don't get extra bandwidth for grief. The new normal begins forming inside the first hour. Prepared people become quiet, methodical, and inward. Unprepared people become loud, frantic, and outward, searching for someone to tell them what to do. Radiation, fallout, and kinetic strikes are not always immediate, but the threat is already shaping behavior. You don't need to see a mushroom cloud to live under its shadow. The shadow arrives first. In the macro view, retaliatory options are weighed like stones. Hypersonic systems shorten timelines, leaving less room for verification. The faster weapons get, the more fragile decision-making becomes. A strike can be conventional, nuclear, or something ambiguous enough to cause the worst assumptions. Ambiguity is dangerous because it forces leaders to plan for the maximum threat. Planning for maximum threat invites maximum response. By the final minutes of the first hour, the country either stabilizes into tense communication or sharpens into sustained emergency posture. Either way, daily life is no longer yours. It belongs to systems and decisions you will never see. If escalation continues, you feel it as broader closures and stronger messaging. Schools close early, events cancel, and workplaces send people home with forced calm. The normal calendar breaks like a thin branch. If the crisis pauses, do not relax into denial. A pause is not peace, it is breathing room. Breathing room can be used for de-escalation or for setting the next trap. The lingering truth is that safety was always rented, not owned. It was paid for with electricity, logistics, and trust. When those three wobble, the floor tilts under everyone at once. You learn that modern life is a thin layer of coordination. 1 hour of fear can strip it down to instincts. The world doesn't end with one blast. It ends with millions of small failures aligning. And when the first hour finally passes, you don't feel relief. You feel the weight of what comes next. Because the first hour isn't the end of the world. It is the moment the world proves it can end.